So we find ourselves in the deepest, darkest heart of the Cotswolds with Mike Tindall and Storm, the Labrador, who has quite a few friends with her. In fact, 6 Labradors, plus Debbie, who is going to teach the boys how to behave. Is that right, Mike? Is that basically it?
Storm's relatively new, she's 8 months old, and wanted to be a gun dog, so Debbie's going to help train her up. Hopefully we'll learn something today.
A gun dog, so that means retrieving birds and things.
Deb does competitions, whereas Stormy will hopefully just be my peg dog, so just to attention, go get birds when she needs to do and bring them back.
Now, why haven't you been able to train her? I mean, normally when you talk, Mike, people shut up and listen.
Yeah, not dogs. Not Dr. Dolittle, unfortunately. But Debbie's going to help me become Dr. Dolittle.
Fantastic. Right, well, we wait with bated breath to see how Storm can be trained.
This is the first lesson I'd like to point out.
So Storm, whether she likes it or not, is going to be a working dog. You've got 2 others. You've got a boxer, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've also got, what else have you got?
Bull Mastiff.
A bull mastiff. What do they do? Do they work, or do they just sort of slobber at home?
They're just entertainment value.
How do you think he's doing so far, Debbie?
Great start.
Yeah? And how about Storm?
Oh, Storm's perfect.
See what I did there? So, Mike, how did that first lesson go with Storm?
I was pretty happy, really. Obviously, you know, we've brought her up right from the very beginning, from when we got her at 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So, and as you can see, she was very obedient. A little bit troubled on the last one, but that was quite advanced for her. For her first lesson, I was very happy.
Yeah, and do you enjoy getting out and sort of away from the pressures and rigours of professional sports, getting out in the country and training Storm?
Yeah, very much so. It gets you away from it. And as you know, when I beat you at golf and I beat you at clay pigeon shooting, we like getting away from rugby and doing as many sports as we can.
So one of your ambitions then, Mike, apart from winning the World Cup next year with England again, is to train Storm to perfection so that she is the perfect peg dog stroke gun dog.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, do you take it as a matter of pride that you get this right?
You never want to be screaming after your dog as it's running down to the next peg and picking up your neighbour's birds and bringing them back to you, even though it does fill you with confidence if you've missed everything on that drive. But you never know. Next time we'll get Sportsvibe down to see if when she's progressed and we go on a shoot.
So, Mike, the first time I came across you, I remember writing a feature called Young Guns. That's how long ago it was. You're now an elder statesman. You're seen as an old warrior.
Antique guns.
Yeah, but you're still here. You're still part of, hopefully, England. You certainly were. And Gloucester as well. So it's clearly you've lost none of the appetite.
No, not at all. And sort of the last few years have been really good. I've really got back to really enjoying it. You know, the youth side of the guys who come through at Gloucester. At the moment, people like Johnny May, Henry Trinder, Freddie Burns, Ryan Mills, Charlie Sharples, David Lewis. All these kids are, 18 to 21, and pushing and want to play, and they sort of, and in some ways, it's good for. Well, I find it good for myself because you want to keep up with them. In training, you you train that bit harder because they're training hard because they want it, and I've really enjoyed it.
On the evidence of what we saw in Australia, there's some outstanding young talent now bona fide England internationals, and you must be very excited by that.
Definitely, it's not just, you can immediately jump on the fact that you look at Danny Kerr, you look at Fodes, Chris Ashton, Toby Flood getting that starting position, even people like Coley and Courtney who've come into the boiler house, as it were. But just the attitude of how we're trying to play, and the mentality of the coaches in terms of, there was always the issue of you pick for what you do in your club, but then you try and do something else to fit into the sort of England setup, which is always going to be a little way because you're never going to play the same way as your club. But I think we're getting to a point where we're finding a situation that people are enjoying playing. We are trying to play rugby. We are trying to make England a better international team, and Australia was a step forward in that. But what we've done over the last sort of 2 years particularly is we've peaked and then plateaued and then gone into a trough, and then we've sort of seen a new dawn where we've played one game well again and then not back that up. And international rugby's, you look at the All Blacks at the moment, it's about backing it up week in, week out, and that's what we have to do.
And you've come, like everybody, after sort of 10, 15 years. It's a journey, isn't it? And you came down from Yorkshire, you went to Bath, you moved to Gloucester, and here we are. You're real countryphile now, aren't you? You live with Zara. Zara's won the European Championships, won the World Championships. Hopefully, all sights set on London 2012. So, very, very exciting times in your household. And I guess you've probably learnt a bit from each other, haven't you? Because you both understand the rigours of top international sport.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a good balance. She's very analytical about herself. She puts herself under a lot of pressure to perform, and questions when things don't go right. Very rarely does she blame her horse. She always looks at herself first, and I keep telling her sometimes she might have to look at the horse first, but my limited knowledge is that. But this year she's gone really well, and hopefully we've got 3 or 4 horses that'll progress for her, hopefully looking at sort of next year, and then ideally at 2012. And then whereas for me, I'm a bit more laid back. She sometimes gives me the kick up the arse that I need, but I'm quite good at getting her to relax a little bit.
Well, you can't go on forever as a rugby player. You've got a bit of fuel left in your tank, but I'm just trying to think what I'm going to find you doing in 5 years. I can see you strolling around the manor with your dogs and a gun under your arm. Maybe on the poker circuit by then, because you do like your poker, and you've actually earned a bit of money out of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I do enjoy poker. I haven't played as much. I went through a phase of playing a lot, and Poker Stars were really good with me in terms of giving me opportunities to do that. But at the moment, it was more something that filled time when I was injured, whereas now it's all about Gloucester and getting that right. But that would be definitely an avenue that I enjoy doing, and I find playing people face to face is a challenge. It's not a physical challenge, but it's definitely not just a mental battle in terms of who's got the best cards, but it is also about bravado and being a rugby player with a bit of a beaten up face always gives you that little edge that most of the time they don't think you're lying.
Anyway, life as always with you seems pretty good, and this is the complete antithesis to the roar of the Shed or the roar of Twickenham, the Hacker perhaps, which will be performed in front of you in November. Is this part of the reason why it's such attractive to you? It's just get away from it all.
Yeah, it sort of definitely matches my personality, away from everything, and just the ability to go for a walk in the fields with your dog and not have to worry about leads and not have to worry about what they get up to, and you can just sort of relax. You take your dogs in pubs, and it's just an easier and fresher way of living a lot of the time. And you know, yes, you've got to be in that zone once you get the rugby field, but you have to have that ability to completely switch off from that and the analysis of other games and looking at other things. You've got to have that ability to switch off, which sometimes too much I have that ability.